So episode 3 of Atlanta picks up the pace from episode 2, where we saw pretty much a lot of shit go down. We have Van here now with Darius, as well as Al and Earn, and by the start of this episode, they're all together going to this billionaire's house in order to get some more money from them for Paperboy and for all of the things that they need money for. They go with somebody that Earn knows called Will, who is there pretty much just funding shit. Now, this episode was great, I think, because it splits everybody apart and they're all dealing with their numerous shit. Van is a little bit left off until the very end of this episode, but that's just because I think in the next episode it's really going to focus on her, as by the end of this episode she's split up from everybody. So Earn is going with Will, who is showing him a new artist called TJ, who he has been funding for, and they're trying to make an artist co-op of sorts. Earn doesn't feel, however, that TJ is a great artist and really feels that he shouldn't be funded that much, even though TJ's kind of hinting like, hey man, I got something good going on here, please don't ruin this shit. So we'll get back to that in a bit. Paperboy is with Fernando, who is the billionaire here, and they go to have a poker game where Paperboy ends up winning and Fernando flakes. He's like, I ain't paying shit, and he just disappears on Al, and everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy right here, right? Darius is dealing with his own shit, and back to the White Guild I talked about in the episode 2 video I did earlier, that this season is going to deal a lot with that. And we see it when Darius is going up to a woman. She just says, oh, I'm married, sorry. And he's like, no, I'm just going to ask you if you could hand me that drink right there. And she's like, oh, I just thought because you know how black guys are into Asian girls and all of this. And somebody overhears this, and then it starts like snowballing into something else that it wasn't. And they immediately call this woman a super racist, even though Darius says, yeah, what she said was racist, but it wasn't as big as a thing as y'all are saying. And eventually more white people chime in, and they start changing up the story into something completely different and asking Darius if he's okay. They start crying and all of that. And I thought that was an interesting way to show what we see with White Guilt nowadays, where they pretty much make it all about themselves when something happens, and we leave like the black voices completely out of it. We're not even listening to anything they say at all. And it's just like, this is how I felt about that situation you were in. This is what I'm doing. And as soon as maybe they want to speak out about it themselves, they're like, no, you don't have to. We're going to take care of this. We're here to protect you. We're here to save you. And it's sort of a superiority complex that they get in these situations. And I thought Atlanta did a great job with this scene and this whole situation to portray what is actually happening on a broader form, which is good. So Earn, after having a conversation with Al about the whole TJ situation, sees it in a different way now that Al pretty much explains that why don't you just let him like scam him out of his money and everything. We've seen it happen with white people and all of that. This is a black kid who's just trying to make it out of the situation he's in, and if that white man wants to pretty much give him all of the money, let him do it, right? Like, what's wrong with that? Earn starts to see it in a different light now after hearing this, but what really makes him click is when he sees a picture in the house that has 3 white men holding like a check of sorts for some bank and all of that, and in the back you just see like a black person right there just standing all the way to the sidelines. And Earn is pretty much like, Al's right, like, let's take this guy's money, like, who cares, right? And pretty much Earn tells Will, yeah, let's do this, but he's going to need a manager and all of that. I can do it for 5% less than what everybody's asking because I'm your friend, right? Will gets excited about all of this, and he pretty much is like, let's go. So what we find out at the end of the episode is that Darius, the woman he talked to, was actually the fiance of Will, and Will even calls off the engagement after hearing whatever story the white people in the party have told him, and he's like, I'm done with her and everything. That is the most racist thing ever. And then the whole gang leaves because Al is trying to like cut down a tree in Fernando's yard that was very special to Fernando, because Fernando, of course, ain't paying up. And so they eventually just leave altogether, and they think they're with Van, but no, Van has been acting kind of weird by the end of it, where she's pretty much saying she's just going to let go, let loose, and see where it takes her, stop being so much in her head, which she advises Earn to do as well. And by the end of the episode, they all run out, but Van isn't with them in the car. It's actually Socks, the guy who actually started the whole story about the woman being racist to Darius and snowballing it into something different. And that's how our episode ends. So like I said, This episode really touched more on what Stephen Glover had been talking about, the white guilt aspect of everything for this season that they wanted to touch base on. And like I said, it's something that you do see today a lot as well, especially with situations that happen in our world today, and you see how it does end up spiraling control, where the narrative is completely shifted onto what should be focused on is the black voices, instead becomes only the white voices that are talking and sort of handling everything for whatever reason that may be. So this episode did a great job at that, and I'm very interested to see, though, however, as well, how this story will unfold. As I said, I think the next episode is going to be heavily centered around Van. I think her character has been needing the spotlight that is coming to her, and it looks like from the end of this episode, we'll leave the guys in the car with Socks, and we're going to focus on what's going on with Van, because I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see exactly where her head is at this moment, as we really haven't gotten much insight besides quick little talk she's had here and there with Darius, but we don't really know much more about what is exactly going on. So I'm excited to check out the next episode this Friday when it comes out. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it so far, and what do you think about the season. As I said, I think it started off very strong with the first episode. Second episode was a great way to show us where everybody's been and how they're doing. And third episode was just setting up more themes and setting up these characters more, where we're going to see them by the end of this season. I think that there's one more season of this show, Atlanta, before it wraps up. So definitely a lot of shit's going to happen this season. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this episode, as well as what you think about everything going on so far. Are you excited or not for this season? Do you like it so far? Which was your favorite episode? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, either here or here. I'm not sure where it is. Make sure you subscribe down below. And as always, we're on the road to 21,000 subscribers, less than 600 away. We can get there together. I know we can do it. Make sure you tune in, as I am also talking about the show Severance. I have several videos coming out in the next 3 days for that, as well as a theory video on the finale. So make sure you're subscribed for all of that and all the stuff you love in pop culture. Just check out the channel. We talk a lot. We upload a lot of shorts, giving you things on the news that's happening as well in pop culture. As always, that's going to do it for me. Check out the video on the left. Make sure you're subscribed. Notification bell on. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Stay positive.